Hey there, this is Holly's Rockin' Recipes, and I'm Holly, and thanks for checking me out. So today I'm going to be making my unfried crispy stuffed chicken. I am a big fan of any recipe or entree that you can make that has a lot of flavor but doesn't have a lot of ingredients, and this one certainly fits that category. So I'm just going to go in and tell you what you're going to need to put it together. Obviously chicken, so it serves 4 people, so 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. And I brine my chicken overnight in the refrigerator. I put it in a bag like this, cover it with really salty water, and put it in the refrigerator overnight. If you don't have overnight, 3 or 4 hours in the refrigerator will help that brining process happen, and it just makes the chicken extra tender and extra juicy. When I pull it out of the refrigerator, I rinse off the chicken and dry it off with a paper towel. It does not make the chicken salty, it just makes it extra tender and extra juicy, and it is an extra step, but I think it's worth it. So there you go, that's the chicken. So the next thing you'll need is panko breadcrumbs that we're going to put on the top to make it crispy, and some mayonnaise that I use to bind the panko breadcrumbs onto the chicken. And then for the filling, I have 4 ounces of herbed goat cheese. If you can't find herb goat cheese, you can just get regular goat cheese and put in some extra Italian seasoning. And goat cheese is so good. It's nice and sweet and creamy. It's really, really good. I also have about 8 slices of prosciutto. Love prosciutto. It's Italian ham. It tastes a lot like bacon. It's smoky and salty. I love it. Also some basil and some sun-dried tomatoes. Now I buy them in a pack like this, and I actually rehydrate them by putting them in a coffee mug and just covering them with water and putting them in the microwave for about 50 seconds, and that just plumps them back up, and then it hydrates them so you can cut them up and use them. And then the last thing is we're just going to need an egg white to bind up all the filling. So let me just bring you in closer and show you how I put this all together. I'm just going to show you how I put this unfried crispy stuffed chicken together. So the first thing I'm going to do is work on the stuffing, which of course starts with the goat cheese, and that's 4 ounces of herbed goat cheese. And like I said, if you can't find the herb goat cheese, you can always just add some more Italian seasoning to the filling. And then the next thing is going to be, I have about 8 slices, really thin slices of prosciutto. And then I have probably about 3 tablespoons of chopped up basil. And then I have my sun-dried tomatoes that I've rehydrated by just putting some water over them and putting them in the microwave for about 50 seconds, just letting them sit in the hot water for a few minutes. And then I'm just going to give this a stir. And my goat cheese is already softened up, so that's going to help the process with the stuffing. Get this all mixed in. Now the prosciutto is pretty salty, so I'm not going to add salt to this, but I will add a little bit of black pepper. So grab some black pepper and put that in there. This already smells so good. Those sun-dried tomatoes are chewy and sweet, and the contrast of that with the salty and smoky prosciutto and then the soft, sweet goat cheese, so good. Okay, it looks like it's about all incorporated. So now I just want to put in my egg white. So just 1 egg white goes in. And that just helps sort of keep the filling together. So when you cut into the chicken breasts, your filling doesn't ooze out all over the place. So get this going here. And the best thing to use is actually a fork to really get it incorporated. And there we go. Okay, so that is all done. And the last thing I wanted to do was touch my raw chicken, because I know I have to wash up really good after that. So what I do for the chicken, to stuff the chicken, is I just take it and I get a really sharp paring knife. That's the best thing to use for this. And I just cut a slit on the side, and I just carefully go in and kind of just pick away at it until I make a pocket. I don't want it to go all the way through. I just want to make a pocket in there that I can put the stuffing. And I don't want the opening to be too big because I don't want the stuffing to come out. So I already worked on this a little bit, so that is good to go. So I just grab my stuffing. I use like a teaspoon to help get it in the opening and put that in there. And like I said, this makes enough for about 4 chicken breasts, to stuff 4 chicken breasts. This already smells so good. So I'm just gonna get that in there. Get in there, get in there. Okay. And now, once I feel like I've got enough in there that there's really no more that's gonna pack in there, I have some wooden toothpicks that I have soaked in water so that they don't burn when they go in the oven. And I just kind of use those and thread them through the chicken, the opening, so it kind of seals up that end so that the stuffing doesn't come out. And now it is ready to coat. So what I will do is get my mayonnaise, get my coating up here, my panko breadcrumbs. And my panko breadcrumbs I actually seasoned up a little bit with some Italian seasoning, salt and pepper. And then I'm gonna get my mayonnaise. And this is sort of a cheater way to get fried chicken taste because it makes it nice and crispy like fried chicken, but you don't get all of that oil in your diet. And I'm not using a lot of mayonnaise, just enough to coat it so that the panko breadcrumbs stick. So it's not a lot of extra fat. And then it goes into the panko breadcrumbs. And I just give it a push so that on all sides it gets coated with those breadcrumbs. And there we go. I'm just going to put it on a sheet tray and put it in the oven on 375 for 15 minutes on one side, and then flip it over for about 10 or 15 minutes more on the other side until it's nice and crispy. And before I put it in the oven, I'm going to drizzle it with a little bit of olive oil just to make it extra crispy. It helps the breadcrumbs turn brown. So now I am going to wash my hands and get this in the oven. Now I've just taken my unfried crispy stuffed chicken out of the oven and it smells amazing. Now the first thing I did was pull the toothpicks out. You don't want to forget to do that. So I'm just going to cut it this way so you can see how gorgeous the inside looks with that stuffing. And the outside stayed nice and crispy and the inside has that gorgeous stuffing. Now I just have to take a bite and make sure I get some of that stuffing in that bite. There we go. Okay, unfried crispy stuffed chicken. Try it out. Now that makes me want to dance.
You know I like my chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio.